Hey guys, it's Peter Chen recording another 500 Zoom video. So on table one, the small blind opened and I called. I'm going to check back my hand most of the time. Would rather be a little more polarized when I bet. Uh, Now on the turn, I think this is close. And on the river, always checking back, I think. No, I can bet I have the bottom of my range on the 7 river. That improves a lot of my weaker hands. Opening the cutoff with King Jack offsuit and folding to the 3-bet. On table 2, I have queens. Going to 3-bet. Against this 4-bet, I think I just always shove. I can call with weaker pairs or slow play aces, but queens and kings are going to mostly want to shove. I'm going to 3-bet this king 9 some of the time, call sometimes. And on this flop, I'm going to be betting a lot, but this hand probably gets a check sometimes. On table 1, 3-betting ace jack suited. I'm going to check again. And hitting the 9 on the river, I'm going to check call. Maybe I can bet sometimes. On table 1, I'm betting half pot on the flop. On table 1, 3-betting king 10, small blind versus cutoff. And I'm going to continue for a medium size on this flop. On table 2, I opened ace queen, got called by both the blinds. So I think I can bet sometimes and check sometimes. With the king 10 check calling on the turn. And with the ace queen, I think I'm going to be betting sometimes, but mostly checking. I'm going to treat this min bet pretty much like a check and just raise. I would have bet against his check. So on table 2, small blind opens. I'm going to defend my big blind with 5-3 suited. We flop a pair. He's probably going to be checking a lot on this flop. And I'm going to bet if he checks against this bet. I think I'm always going to call. I don't think I ever raise with a pair of threes. On table 1, defending my big blind with 7-5. With the 3, I think I can still bet this sometimes. Making him fold any over pairs is good, and getting him to call with a worse hand sometimes still. So on table 1, I called his half pot bet on the flop. I bet half pot on the turn, and on this river, I have pretty much the worst hand I can have. Trying to think of what sizing makes sense for me to bet. I don't have too many really strong hands. I do have some 2 pair and a bunch of king X. I can go big. I'm not sure if I want to bet really big or not. On table 1, opening the button with king jack. The small blind calls me. I think now I'm going to start going kind of polarized and betting a bigger size. If it was against the big blind, I think there's a lot more merit to just betting small. Big blind has a lot of weak hands that just fold, so when I have nothing, it benefits me to bet small and make the big blind fold all its junk, but small blind has a stronger range. So there's a lot less of those like auto folding hands. On table 2, I called the big blind with pocket threes and I flop bottom set. I'm pretty much going to raise this hand always. That's a pretty good turn for me. I think I'm supposed to check a lot. It's a good turn for my hand, but not the greatest turn for my range. The river is pretty good for my range. That should have a lot of draws. He can have all of the same draws as well, but he would bet them on the turn sometimes. So I don't want to go super big, but I think I can go for around a pot size bet. He did have the straight. I'm going to call with the pocket sevens on the cutoff against EP open. The sevens is going to be mixed. Call or fold. On table 1, I 3-bet the big blind against EP open. On the flop, I'm going to check sometimes and bet big sometimes. And I get a turn where I'm going to be checking a lot and betting small a lot. I don't think I should be betting big on this turn ever. So I'm just mixing between checking and betting a quarter of the pot. On table 2, I'm going to be mostly using a big bet size on this flop and going polar. Sixes is okay to bet, but mostly checking. And folding to this overbet. Table 1, opening the button with ace 9 off. And I get a flop where I'm going to be betting a lot. I have a pretty good hand to check, but I'm still going to be betting it almost all the time. And now checking the turn. So I'm not sure if I have to call this really tiny bet. I don't think so. On table 2, I could 3-bet or flat this. And now on the flop, I can either check or bet. I'm guessing I'm going to bet this hand a little more than half the time. On table 1, opening sixes. On table 2, opening the cutoff with king 10 off. Table 1, opening early position with queen 10. I get 3-bet really small. So I think I'm always calling this. So the flop goes check, check. I don't think I'm betting very often. This hand is okay to bet though. On table 2, I'm going to 3-bet this ace queen off against an EP open. So on table 1, I hit my flush, but the ace makes a full house. I don't think I'm strong enough to bet and get much value. I might get called by like a middle pocket pair, but I think it's more likely that I check and he bluffs something like two Broadway cards. So he did turn kings into a bluff there. Or maybe it was a value bet. Yeah, I'm guessing it was a value bet. I would have called with some worse hands. On table 2, I open the small blind. I can pretty much do any sizing or check on this flop. And I'm going to bet really big on this this turn. We got the double draw, double flush draw, and the 2. both great for big betting. And I think I have some pretty good blockers to bet again. I think mostly I want to not have spades and clubs. And having a queen and a nine block hands like queen jack, which are going to be like break even calls. I'm not sure if I really want to block them, but table one, opening nines in early position. On table two, I'm going to defend the big blind with 4-3 suited against the 3x open. On table one with the nines, I'm going to 3-bet sometimes and call sometimes. So on this flop, I'm going to bet small with my whole range. On this turn, I'm going to check back quite a bit, but with my hand, I think I'm going to keep betting. I think I want to bet decently big because I'm going to be polarized to like something like a strong ace or better. On table one, opening king jack in early position. And on table two, I'm going to check back. On table one, this is pretty decent hand to check. I think I'm still betting it sometimes though. But now I'm just checking it down. Table 2 opening 10-9 from the button. On table 2, I'm going to raise sometimes and call sometimes. On table 1, I'm going to call the big blind against a small blind open. I could raise this sometimes. On the flop, I think I'm mostly calling. And now betting on the turn. I think the 3 is a good card to bet decently big. On table 2, I'm going to open pocket 4s from hijack. And on table 1, I'm going to call this very small raise. I think I can call again, quarter pot bet, and I have backdoor straight draw and backdoor flush draw. Once I've checked 2 on the turn, I'm going to start betting. On table 2, I'm opening king 10 off from the hijack. This is going to be mixed. And folding to the 3 bet. I'm going to end this video after this hand, but I'll keep recording this session. So part 2 next week. So here, cutoff opens, I call the button with threes, small blind and big blind both call. I have no idea what I'm doing in a four-way pot, but I'm guessing this hand will be a pure check. I'm probably just betting really infrequently in a four-way pot. Alright, thanks for watching. See you next week.